This creature doesn't kill its prey right away. Instead, it hacks the prey's brain, forces it to build a safe home for its enemy, turns it into a living servant, and then slowly destroys it. It may sound like something from a horror movie, but this is completely real, and the name of this creature is Hymenoepimecis argyraphaga. It is a creature that can control the mind of a spider and turn it into a living zombie. But how can such a tiny wasp completely change the behavior of another animal? And why does the spider build its own death trap? Today, we're going to explore the unbelievable story of one of the most mysterious and terrifying parasites on Earth, Hymenoepimecis argyraphaga. It is found mainly in the tropical rainforests of Central and South America. It is not very large, usually only a few centimeters long, but despite its small size, its abilities are so astonishing that scientists have studied its secrets for decades. The wasp's primary victim is a web-building spider called Plesiometa argyra, and this is where one of nature's most horrifying forms of control begins. One day, a female Hymenoepimecis argyraphaga approaches the spider's web. When the opportunity arises, she suddenly attacks the spider. Then, with incredible speed, she lays a single egg on the spider's body. The egg remains attached to the outside of the spider. At first, the spider has no idea what terrifying fate awaits it. It continues its normal life, moving around, catching prey, and feeding as usual. But inside its world, an invisible nightmare is slowly growing. A few days later, a larva hatches from the egg. The larva remains attached to the spider and begins feeding on its blood-like body fluids and nutrients. The strange thing is that the larva does not kill the spider at first, because a living spider is the safest home it can have. So it carefully feeds on the spider while keeping it alive. The spider survives, but gradually becomes weaker and weaker, and this is when the most mysterious stage begins. Once the larva has grown large enough, it releases special chemical substances into the spider's body. These chemicals affect the spider's nervous system. As a result, the spider's normal behavior completely changes. Under normal conditions, Plesiometa argyra builds a specific type of web every day to catch prey. But under the influence of the parasite, it suddenly begins constructing a completely different kind of web. This web is not designed for catching food. It is actually a future home for the wasp. In other words, the spider unknowingly builds a safe shelter for its own enemy. Scientists often describe this behavior as zombie manipulation because the spider is no longer acting according to its own will. Its brain is effectively following the instructions of the parasite. Once the special web is finished, the larva no longer needs the spider. At that point, it kills its host. Then it emerges from the spider's dead body. Afterward, it hangs in the center of the specially constructed web and spins a cocoon around itself. This is when the true importance of the web becomes clear. The special web is far stronger than the spider's ordinary web. It can protect the cocoon from rain, wind, and even attacks from predators. In other words, before it dies, the spider builds a secure fortress for the very creature that will kill it. Perhaps the most astonishing fact is that scientists still do not fully understand how the larva controls the spider's brain with such precision. Researchers believe it produces chemicals that send specific signals to the spider's brain. As a result, the spider creates a web that it would never build under normal circumstances. This is considered one of the most complex examples of mind control found anywhere in nature. There are many predators on Earth, but very few creatures can manipulate the brains of other animals for their own benefit. Hymenoepimecis argyraphaga is one of those rare creatures. It does more than simply hunt. It controls its prey while the prey is still alive. It forces the victim to build a home for its future, and then it ultimately leads that victim to its death. If there is such a thing as a true zombie maker in the natural world, then Hymenoepimecis argyraphaga is undoubtedly one of the best examples. Had you heard of this incredible creature before? Let us know in the comments. And if you want to discover more mysterious and unbelievable creatures from around the world, be sure to stay with us for the next story.